Hello and welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for the AVFC STATTO preview show in association with Luke Roper. If you want to get 20% off everything Luke have to offer, use the code TVV20 and you'll get your 20% off. Do that at the checkout, I believe. Bit of admin before we start the show as well. Obviously, everyone's loving Unai Emery at the moment. I know I am. And the Villa View store has had some Unai Emery mugs in stock for a while now. So a few people have been buying them. But if you want to get yourself an Unai Emery mug and feel like a winner every time you have a cup of tea or a cup of Bovril, whatever you put in your mugs, then yeah, get yourself an Unai Emery Villa View mug. I think if you use your phone to go over that barcode, it should take you directly to where you need to go. But Villa View going high tech, which is a little bit worrying because every time we've tried to go high tech, the show's usually crashed or not worked. Dale, AVFC Stato, how are you?
Yes, mate, wonderful. I'm looking forward to the 4-day weekend ahead and just basking in supporting a football team that's winning games in the top flight, which hasn't seemed to be happening for a long while. So, yeah, all good.
Heady days in seventh place. Been a while since Villa were at these heights at this stage of a Premier League season. Be perfectly honest, I've had podcasts coming out of my ears today and I've not really looked through what you sent through, Dale. So we'll start as ever with a stat about Aston Villa FC. And Unai Emery has earned 32 Premier League points in his 16 Premier League games so far as Aston Villa manager. It's a very good return, Dale.
It's a very good return. And because I know because I know you like quizzes so much, we're going to start with one.
Go on then.
That's like you said, Unai Emery's earned 32 Premier League points in 16 Premier League games. Only 16 managers in Premier League history have earned more points in their first 16 games than Unai Emery has at Aston Villa.
How many managers?
16.
That's a lot of managers.
It's not.
You said only 16? That's loads.
It's not.
Isn't it?
Think how many seasons there are. And how many managers get changed.
In their first, I suppose, in their first 16 games.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, not going to ask me to name 16, are you?
I'm not going to name 16. I'm going to name as many as you can. I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
9 of them are former Chelsea managers. So you can rattle through them.
Mourinho?
Twice. So there's already 2 gone. So you've only got 14 left. Yep.
I'm already struggling here. Mourinho's done it twice. Ancelotti. Wenger one?
Nope.
Oh, great. I'm struggling there. This isn't easy. You're saying even the Chelsea managers bit isn't easy because all the managers that are popping into my head, I don't feel like they did very well for their teams.
I bet if you name one of them, they'll be in this list.
Oh, Villas-Boas.
Yep. He's in it. He got the same points as Unai Emery.
Got the same points as Unai Emery. Yeah. So there we go. He doesn't even count. I can't. Tuchel.
Yeah, he got 35 points. His first 16 games.
I'm struggling. I don't know whether it's
won the league. He won the league with Man City with the Aguero moment.
Mancini.
Yep.
Pep.
He got 33 in his first 16 at Man City. Yeah, so one more than Unai Emery.
Oh, I thought that was less then. No, probably not Klopp actually. Liverpool didn't go well when he first came in.
No.
I mean, it's going to take out the whole show.
No,
okay, right? I'm not doing very well.
Yeah. So John Gregory's first, obviously, with 41. And then Antonio Conte, Scolari, Avram Grant, Glenn Roeder for Newcastle, Claudio Ranieri for Leicester, Unai Emery for Arsenal, and Kenny Dalglish for Liverpool.
So just the 16 was it then that had done better than Unai Emery?
Just the 16. Think how many managers there are in the Premier League.
I mean, I'd forgotten Scolari even managed Chelsea until you just say it. Glenn Roeder in Newcastle. I would never have said in my life.
Next week, I'll give you an easier quiz.
That's too fast. That's absolutely too far.
Okay.
You've gone this week with the quizzes there. Not good content, Stato. Not very. I'm not happy with that. Not happy with how that's gone, but I'm happy with how it's going under Unai Emery, of course. Let's see what the second Aston Villa stat is heading into this game. Villa are unbeaten in their last 6 Premier League games, winning 5 and drawing 6. Last going on a longer unbeaten run within the same season in 2009-2010, where they went 10 unbeaten. That's Premier League only then, of course, because Villa did, of course, win 10 games in a row in the Championship. But You said to me actually last night, it's getting hard to find like negative stats about Villa at the moment in the current day because we're going really well. Like peak Villa is almost impossible at the moment because what we're doing isn't peak Villa essentially.
Incredible run of form that we're on. Yeah, like you said, because we're playing so well and winning games, and because we're playing Nottingham Forest, we've got a really good record against. It was like impossible to find a peak Villa stat. We just about scraped one together. But for this one, yeah, incredible run of form that we're on. So we have wins over Everton, Palace, Bournemouth, Chelsea, and Leicester, and then drew to West Ham. And then the longest run was, like you said, in 2009, 2010, with 10 games. And that was under Martin O'Neill. However, 7 of those 10 games were draws.
Really?
And we only beat Fulham, Burnley, and Wigan during that 10-game run. And Villa have earned exactly the same number of points in this winning run compared to that winning run in 3 less games.
Wow, I'm surprised. That's 7 draws. I don't remember that. I don't remember going 10 and beaten with 7 draws under O'Neill. I've got to be honest.
It was in March. It was that March time period.
We struggled in March, didn't we?
Yeah, especially under O'Neill. Yeah, we didn't win. I think we won 2 games with O'Neill in March in his total tenure at the club.
Well, yeah, we're scoring every week at the moment, so I guess that's going to give you a good chance of winning football matches if you put the ball in the back of the net every single week, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah, we're on the longest run as well, aren't we, in the Premier League of scoring?
Yeah,
scored in every game under Emery.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal record. Unai Emery, can he do anything wrong? Let's look then at our opponents, Nottingham Forest, who've got a wretched away record this season. Nottingham Forest are winless in all 5 of their previous league games against Aston Villa, drawing 2 and losing 3. I mean, it would have been a while since Villa last played Forest in the Premier League at Villa Park. I think I remember it. In fact, it would have been 98, 99, and Ron Atkinson was manager for Nottingham Forest that day. I don't know whether you remember that day, but it's been so long without this being a top flight fixture, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, that was just league games. So that includes championship.
Oh, does it?
Drawn 2 and lost 3 against Villa in the last 5. Yeah, so 4 of them win the championship.
I remember
with Villa winning 3 of those games. 2 of the fixtures win whilst in Villa's promotion season, which was the infamous 5-5. And then 3-1 win in the City Ground with 2 goals from John McGinn and the other from Courtney House. And that was our 3rd game in our 10-game unbeaten run, which led to our promotion. And a bonus stat for you, Dan, as the Forest have the worst away record in the Premier League this season, winning 1, drawing 3, losing 10, and scoring just 5 times on the road this season.
Yeah, they're not good away from home. Fortunately for them, they have been pretty good at home this season. I think they've got 26 points that they've picked up at home this season, but not won away for a long time. They've actually won themselves for 8 games. I don't actually know whether that's your next stat, but they haven't actually won for 8. Nottingham Forest. So let's look at your next one before I potentially spoil anything further in this show. Forest have failed to win any of their last 9 Premier League away games against sides from the Midlands. This is very niche, Dale. They've drawn 2 and lost 7. I mean, we're going about your stats and your database and whatever. Why is that on your database? How do you know that?
It's not.
Oh, you've discovered it in research.
Yes.
Okay.
You can say that. Yeah. So a lot of the number stats that I get are through the database, but then there's some that I see pop up on like a flash score or something like that I borrow, I guess.
Borrow, yep.
Yes. Yeah, so the loss, as they failed to win any of the last 9 Premier League games away against sides in the Midlands. So this run dates back to August 1996, but obviously they've not been in the Premier League for a very long time. They last won an away game in the Midlands in the Premier League in 1996, winning 3-0 away at Coventry. But since then, they lost to Villa and drew to Leicester and Derby that same season. And then the following season in the Premier League, they lost to Villa, Derby, Coventry, and Leicester. And then this season in the Premier League, they lost both Leicester and Wolves away.
Interesting.
They don't like that short journey.
Not a good run in the Midlands. Nottingham Forest bodes well, of course, for Villa this weekend. Let's finish as ever with. Oh, you've got another quiz, or is that the quiz is done?
Quizzes are done for this week because I don't really like them anymore.
No, I do like them. I
Yeah.
just don't like it when there's 16 answers. That's the problem that I had with the quiz.
I've
This
noted it
week.
for next time.
Thank you
I'll
very much.
improve.
Let's finish with peak Villa, and I do know what this one is going to be. Nottingham Forest forward Emmanuel Dennis has scored more goals and has more goal contributions against Aston Villa than he does against any Premier League team. So if he lines up for them at the weekend, I think he scored in every game, hasn't he, in the Premier League against Villa that he's played, Emmanuel Dennis, unless my memory serving me incorrectly. He scored twice for Watford last season, and he's already scored against us at the City ground this season.
You're spoiling it.
Oh.
That's my part.
Sorry, taking your lines.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, so he's got 4 goal contributions in the Premier League against Villa in 3 games. He scored and assisted on the opening day of the 21-22 season.
I remember it well.
For Watford, and he also scored in the reverse fixture, and then
Remember that
also
well as well.
scored. Yeah, and he also scored in this weekend's reverse fixture in the 1-1 draw at the City ground, which was a game where Ashley Young became the oldest outfield Aston Villa player to score in the Premier League at 37 years old and 93 days.
And what a goal he was as well. Lovely goal.
Spectacular, yeah.
Terrible game, though, at the City ground earlier on in the season. Had Steve Cooper just been told that his job was safe at that point? And then we were just rubbish, weren't we? It was a real turgid affair at the City ground that day. Although they've got a good home record for us, so in hindsight, maybe not a terrible point to get away from home. But on Emmanuel Dennis, yeah, the guy only has to look at Aston Villa at the moment, and he scores against us. I hope he doesn't play at the weekend. I remember that Watford game was horrible. I was sat with Dolan. We hadn't been able to go to an away game for like a year and a half, 2 years due to COVID. And after 10 minutes, I was like, I wish COVID was still here. It was absolutely terrible. It was good to be back amongst the away fans, but it was absolutely awful game for Villa. And the game at Villa Park last season where he scored for Watford as well, just terrible, a terrible defeat. Emmanuel Dennis loves a goal against Villa. Have you got any other nuggets before we end the show, Dale?
Yeah, if you want them, I've got. So Unai Emery has never lost a Premier League home game against promoted sides.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah. And Ashley Young can become the oldest player in Premier League history to score in the first fixture and the reverse fixture of a Premier League season.
Who holds that record currently?
Graham Alexander against Hull in 2009-2010. I don't know who he played for.
Burnley fullback. Penalty taker. I will say now those will have both been penalties. He was a renowned penalty taker, Graham Alexander. I bet they're both penalties. Wasn't expecting to talk about Graham Alexander, Burnley player, on today's show. So that's what this show does. Very, very niche. Do keep your eyes peeled to Dale's STATTO page, AVFC STATTO on Twitter. And you'll be able to see all the pearls of wisdom he comes up with ahead of the game and stuff you come up through the week as well about Villa and after the games. One of the best Villa pages to follow on Twitter, so make sure you're following Dale. I'm unsure what order our videos are coming out in, so we've done a match preview with Dave Reid from Sky Sports News, my Sky Sports News colleague, so make sure you watch that one as well. It's a good listening to Dave ahead of the Forest game. And there'll, of course, be a post-match pint at some point on Sunday, I would think, as well. Hopefully, talking about Aston Villa continuing their European push and getting 9 points in a week. Thanks ever so much to Dale, AVFC STATTO, for joining me. And thanks to Adam for producing as well. Looking forward to getting back to Villa Park. See some of you there, I hope. And as always, up the Villa.
Up the Villa.